What's going on, everyone? Brand here from Bloody Breakdown, and today I have a bloody bevy of horror news for you. Join me. So first up in this hat trick, this triad I have here of information for all you horror fans out there, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I released a short a little earlier this week just to try to get the information out there, but I figured I would include it as part of this video to talk a little bit more in depth about it. So of course, per Variety, we got an interview with Robert Englund, who you all will know better as Freddy fucking Krueger himself, who unfortunately is confirming once again, because every time there's talk of a new Nightmare on Elm Street film, that he is indeed retired as Freddy. I don't think people really want to believe it. It's not like they don't believe him. They don't want to believe it. He's kind of like, there's certain horror icons like Brad Dourif being replaced as Chucky's voice, even though Mark Hamill did a fantastic job. Wasn't really him, was it? Didn't really feel like him. But getting back to Robert Englund here, he said here in this Variety interview, he was asked, would he be willing to put on the fedora again for the right script? His response, heartbreaking, but not shocking, honestly. I'm too old and thick to play Freddy now. Englund says, still trips me out that Robert Englund referred to himself as thick, but I'll digress there. I just can't do the fight scenes for more than one take. I've got a bad neck, bad back, and arthritis in my right wrist, so I have to hang it up, but I would love to cameo. And I feel you there, Robert. I know Robert is in his 60s, maybe even 70s at this point. I'm 35, and I'm already feeling you on the bad back, bad neck part of this interview here, man. So it sucks to hear, it really does, but I mean, it is what it is. The man is getting older. I respect him for realizing his boundaries and kind of understanding, hey, I don't think I would be able to give the performance that I would want to in this role again, so I would rather see somebody else do it. So a lot of respect to Robert for that, as sad as this is. Englund's pick for a modern Freddy, he was wowed by a fan who mentioned Kevin Bacon as a replacement. He says, I know he respects the genre. He's such a fine physical actor. I think that in the silences and the way Kevin moves, it would be interesting. Now, me personally, I've heard this Kevin Bacon thing for years now. Like I said, this isn't the first go round we've had with this kind of news story. But to be honest with you, I just don't see anybody better than to take over this role than Richard Brake. I mean, if you've seen him in 31, if you've seen him in a lot of the various horror films that he's been in, a lot of which by Rob Zombie, I would suggest you go check him out, because he's a lot of things that Robert mentioned here about Kevin Bacon, I think are true about Richard Brake, and I think that he would be an absolutely amazing Freddy Krueger. Next up, coming to us courtesy of Deadline, we found out recently, yes, Terrifier 3 has been greenlit, and we've got some details here for you all to sink your teeth into. I wasn't a huge fan, honestly, of the Terrifier series until Terrifier 2. I'd kind of seen bits and pieces of All Hallows Eve and the original Terrifier, but after the hype of Terrifier 2 came out, I really paid a deep attention and rewatched those films, enjoyed them, but found myself really enjoying Terrifier 2. If you're a fan of gore, you'll absolutely love that one. Now, digging in here to Terrifier 3, writer-director Damien Leone and producer Phil Falcone, kind of funny those names rhyme, will return to oversee the continuation of the franchise. Plot is being kept under wraps, but David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, and Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna, are among cast expected to return. The Coven will serve as executive producer and is already getting interest from buyers. So digging in a little bit more here, it says that made for around $250,000, Terrifier 2 took more than $15 million at the global box office, including more than $10 million in the U.S. The film, which debuted at Fright Fest and Fanatic Fest last year, was noted for its gore. Yeah, no shit. and for leaning on old school practical effects, which is, in my opinion, a lot of the reason the movie was very successful. It retained an 80 to 85% critical and audience score, respectively, on Rotten Tomatoes, and that one, my friends, is the one that really shocks me. Interestingly enough, I'm hearing now that the budget is going to be vastly increased, and I'm hearing that we could be looking at this movie to be released in 2024. I'm very game for it. What do you all think? And last but not least here in our triple threat of horror news, something that definitely warmed my heart. I'm a huge fan of the 2021 reboot of Wrong Turn. I felt like it was better than anything that had come from the cannibalistic zombie storyline. Not that I don't like those movies, not that I don't think especially some of the early ones are really fun horror films to watch. I just felt like I really enjoyed that 2021 reboot, and it just resonated with me a whole lot more than any of the other previous Wrong Turn film did. Well, good news for me, and good news for anyone who likes that franchise in general, or really appreciated that 2021 reboot specifically, because the 2021 reboot writer, also the writer of Halloween 4, by the way, Alan B. McElroy, hopes to make not one, but 2 sequels in his Wrong Turn series, making it a trilogy. I am already ready for this. Let's dig in here. So it says, kind of talks about the history of the franchise here at the top, but it says, what's next for the Wrong Turn franchise? Speaking with Entertainment Weekly for a must-read 20th anniversary retrospective piece that just went up this morning, Wrong Turn creator Alan B. McElroy reveals that he'd like to make 2 sequels to the reboot. McElroy wrote the script to the 2021 movie, the first time he was directly involved in any of the follow-ups. And that's what it is. A lot of times the people who create these stories, they see them go, have crazy amounts of sequels, and the story that you once created turns into something totally different. A lot of times when they get the reins back and they do some type of reboot, I really feel like those are some of the best films, like them bringing things back down to earth, so to speak, in a manner in which maybe they had originally intended. So it has a quote here from Alan B. McElroy, who says, I had planned 2 more films, so there would be a trilogy based around this idea of the Foundation and these characters, he told Entertainment Weekly. He adds, I'd love to finish it and see it come all the way I wanted. So yeah, as the article from bloodydisgusting.com says, here's hoping. Stay tuned for more. Absolutely. Like I said, I really felt like this was the pinnacle of the Wrong Turn franchise thus far. I felt like the story was way more, even though both of them are pretty far-fetched, I'd say I felt like this one was more believable. It felt more grounded. It felt more scary to me. It felt scarier to me. This isn't, a bunch of, Hills Have Eyes rip-off cannibalistic, inbreds. This was something totally different, and it just seemed like something a little bit more real to me. It seemed like something a little bit more scary to me, and I would absolutely love to see a sequel to this thing, and I would absolutely love to see this thing come full circle as a trilogy. So that's going to wrap it up here for me, everyone. Leave your comments down below. What do you think about these news stories? Leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that other YouTube bullshit. Check the descriptions, description. I don't know, is there more than one? A couple of links there to follow me, support the channel, if either of those things seem like something you'd want to do. And yeah, with that said, I'm Bran, and this has been your Bloody Breakdown.